Connecting Communities with Brian J. Today, we have a very special guest. I know all of our guests are very special, but Pam, I never know how to pronounce your last name. Thielen?
Thielen.
Thielen. I'm going to pronounce that incorrectly again at the end. So, do you get that a lot? Do you get Thielen?
Yeah, I get all kinds. You'd be surprised what I get.
Right. No, I get it. I'm a Roush. I get Roach.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone either wants to put an A or a C in my name.
Everybody wants to put a D on the end of mine for some reason.
Oh, Thailand. Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. Well, welcome. We have had a struggle in getting this together. Months, guys. Yes. When I say months, I mean probably there were leprechauns when we started this. Leprechauns meaning like March, if you can't follow my crazy direction. Well, I'm super excited.
We track.
We do, right? Well, speaking of track, right? You are Get Fit Savvy. I love that. Get Fit Savvy. And there's your logo. I love the logo. I love the font of the logo as the marketer. Those are things that definitely throw me off. But I really fell in love with your color scheme. I love that purple and I don't know, is it green? Is it
kind
blue?
of a teal, kind of a yeah.
I do think. Why purple and green or purple and teal or why the colors? We'll keep that simple. Why the colors of the logo?
Well, purple is my color. I love purple.
Okay.
I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan, so yay, Skull.
Oh, so you're that person.
I am that person.
Yes. We've got a celebrity.
Yeah. So, and also the teal is really because the nutrition that I market also, it's the color of the company is that teal. There's just something that pops about it, but green also represents health anyway. So that teal is kind of that combination of it. And it just goes well with purple.
It does go well with purple. And then why the name Get Fit Savvy? I always want to say it like it's like Get Fit Savvy. I don't know why I say it like that. That's what's in my head.
Well, first of all, a lot of people have varying ideas about being fit and what fit means. And savvy obviously means, okay, I know what I'm talking about. I'm comfortable with it. I can go forward with it because I understand it. That's what savvy means. So understanding that fitness is just a huge whole realm. It isn't just exercising. It isn't working your body so hard that you can't breathe. It isn't along that line. It involves your nutrition. It involves your rest. It involves your mental capacities, your attitude. There's so many things that go into being fit that it's savvy just kind of covers the whole thing.
I think you just said it best. People, I feel like I'm like a claw coming after you. People forget. I know, right? Like, people. Welcome to Connecting Communities. People forget that this was hard for me when I was a younger guy. Is to think big picture, right?
Yeah.
It's not just the black and white. There's a lot of gray. And there's a lot of ombre. There's a new word of the generation, right? It's just so many different pieces of what fit means, and what fit means to you could be differently to what it means to someone else. Maybe not so much differently, but maybe a different priority, right?
Yes.
Maybe that nutrition's a little bit more important because they are locked down on that mental, right? Maybe they're seeing a therapist. Maybe they're having those conversations. They're having those healthy relationships. So that nutrition is going to be a little bit more of a higher piece. Where on the flip side, you go into that mental aspect or the communication piece. I mean, again, I think being savvy, being smart, being aware. You said the word earlier, which I love. I use the word all the time. Being purposeful.
Yes.
And having intent.
Yes.
Being intentful and having purpose. I've always said it's where I kind of started my business is I would see folks that would, for example, let's just have a blanket here. I'm a company that does your social media. I'm saying I'm going to do 2 posts a week for you, meaning 8 posts a month. Well, that just means I'm just going to do them. They're not looking at the times. They're not looking at what they're doing. And I'm a firm believer, if you're going to do something, make it have a purpose. Don't just do something to do something. You wouldn't just go to the grocery store and not go grocery shopping.
Unless you forget your wallet. But
been there, done that on numerous occasions. Listen, I'm the guy that is in my car talking to my friend with the flashlight on, looking for my phone. And being so mad that I cannot find this phone.
Yeah. I've been there, done that. I have a headset for my phone and I lose my phone all the time because the headset's going. So I understand.
But so tell me about your purpose. Tell me about how you or Get Fit Savvy is now I can't say the word, is intentful. There it is. It's like specific. I have to stop and say specific. Otherwise, the word just comes out like Pacific Ocean. So, what is it about Get Fit Savvy? What is it about you that is purposeful or intentful, Pam?
I have a passion for giving people tools that they can use where they can feel good about themselves. They can feel good about what they're doing. They have a goal to reach and they can feel good about reaching those goals as they go along. But what happens with so many people is they have this goal. A lot of times it's weight related or how I look. And it's huge in that because that's what
Social media.
yeah, that's what
Right. I
society
mean, it's
does
what it
to
is.
us.
Yeah.
It's what it does to us. But if you can give them small little goals that they can accomplish, so they have the tools to do that, then they're going to feel better about it and continue on. But if it's just like, I want to lose 20 pounds, well, that you have no plan, they start starving themselves immediately. They're just looking at what they're doing, outside. Then, you know what? A week, 2 weeks down the road, they quit. They get discouraged. And now they've actually set themselves back even farther because now they've already tried once and failed. So it becomes more and more discouraging. But if you can have small little things and somebody to encourage you along the way, not just with weight loss, but with the focus of feeling good. Because to me, fit means I can do what I want, when I want to do it, or when I have to do it. No matter how old I am, no matter how young I am, I can get it done. And so if you have little goals to accomplish along the way, what ends up happening is as you achieve those goals, they build on top of each other till you actually reach that big goal. And you never really do arrive. You never really do get there because there's always something else.
Right. Well, it's the same mentality, and I share this with your counterpart. Speaking of that, we'll talk about some of
Yeah.
those better choices. Is setting up those goals is great, but what happens is I need to lose 20 pounds, right? Well, you know what? I only lost 12. I failed.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
is that a
Yeah.
failure? You
Exactly.
lost
Yeah.
12.
I lost 12 pounds.
Right.
Exactly.
They're only looking at what they didn't do, what they didn't succeed, versus on how they did. It's the same mentality, and I love this analogy here. Is when I'm late,
Mm.
that's not. I'm not usually late. If I'm late, my first response is never. I am so sorry for being late. Never. It's always thank you for having patience and waiting for me.
Yes.
I flip it
Yes.
around, right?
Yep.
And I think if we can flip things around instead of saying, "Oh, I did not lose 20 pounds," instead of saying, I lost 12
Yeah,
pounds.
look at it. And a lot of times people don't understand there's other goals in there too. That okay, you say you want to lose 20 pounds, but a lot of times you may have reconfigured your body. Your body is reconfigured. So actually, because I used to be very, very heavy. I used to be quite heavy. And people go, well, I don't believe that, blah, blah, blah. But I probably only weighed 25 to 30 pounds more than I do now. But the makeup of my body was completely different.
I
There was no muscle, there was no tone.
right.
So there in changing the focus of what we're looking at for our goals, and not just weight loss, but unfortunately that's what a lot of people think of all the time because we do have an epidemic in our nation with that. But it's just changing the focus to health. And when I changed my focus to health, because I tried so many diets, you would not believe it. When I changed my focus to health and feeling good, it became simpler and actually easier for me to follow.
Well, it has to be a
So
lifestyle. It has to work for you. I
yes,
was a heavier dude. I was well over 300 pounds at one point. Dropped myself down to 225, but it took 6 months. It took
and that's
dedication.
still fast. That's fantastic.
Well, I didn't do it the right way, right? So I did it the right way for me. Let me phrase that. So what happened, long story short, now Reader's Digest this is I only wanted to focus on calorie intake. That was my
Mm.
problem. When I realized what I was doing, I was probably intaking about 4,200 calories a day on average. Because I went and checked. So I dropped that 4,200 down to 1,500.
Oof,
That
oof, oof.
right,
Big
right.
change. Big
But
change.
here's what the thing is I switched my eating. So I am a hot dog person. I love hot dogs. I love sausages, right? I'll go in the refrigerator and just eat a raw hot dog in the middle of the day. So that 145 calorie hot dog I found another hot dog that was only 45 calories. I love wraps. So instead of these tortillas that were 300 or bread that was what 140 calories for two pieces, I had this wrap that was 54 calories, right? I
Yeah.
used lettuce instead of bread for sandwiches. So I based myself off of 1,500 calories every day, but I also made sure that I walked 3 miles every day. Now, anything after 3 miles took off of my calorie intake, which means I could eat more. So it
Okay.
was a balance. If I wanted to eat that burger, I knew that I needed to do some extra one. And for me, writing things down is the key. If I write it down and I see it, I hold myself accountable. That's what works for me. You know,
That's
I love
writing
ice
is
cream.
fantastic because it puts it right there before you.
Right. I had a great app that I could, again, the point to make it successful is I had to make it adaptable to me. I couldn't adapt to that.
Right.
I
Right.
had to change because that wasn't going to change, right? So the things I was doing had to be natural. I have chips over here, but I found a low calorie chip that I could eat. I mixed it with pretzels. I maneuvered things around. Now, this week, I may say, you know what? I'm going to eat a little light tonight. So it's going to be a salad probably, or maybe just, some chicken and throw it in a tortilla, nothing extravagant. Because this weekend, I know I'm going to Red Lobster,
Okay.
right?
Yep. Yep.
So I looked on a day, but overall it was a week piece that I needed to do. So on the weekends, especially in the summer, I would barbecue, right? I might have a glass of wine, but I typically stop drinking my calories.
Yep.
So diet soda, I know I still had to have a soda. Every once in a while I'd have a Coke because I'd have that piece, but I could. And I'd order a medium Coke instead of getting a large Coke. And I would
Yep.
drink that whole Coke because I could, because
Yep.
I knew that I was good, right? So I think what you're saying is, again, you got to be adaptable. You have to be flexible. You have to have purpose and intent on what you're doing.
Yeah. And you also have to pick something that you can do the rest of your life.
It's a
So
lifestyle. It's not just right now.
when
Now,
you're good
unfortunately for me, I
80%
went
of
through
the
some
time.
hiccups and then COVID happened and I gained and I lost and I gained and my lifestyle changed. And I personally am at that point where I could be all the way, I think it's probably about 255 is my point. Once I hit 256, I look like I weigh 325. Like I look like I weigh 230 until I hit 256, and then I go from 230 to 325. It's like overnight, I just blow up.
Yep.
And I'm at that point right now that I'm just a blow up. So it's not a lot of weight that I have to lose, but you have to wrap yourself around it.
It's just changing the little habit. It's just like little habits that you have, just little things like substitution, that kind of thing. Those
Eat
little
pickles.
habits.
I love pickles. So why am I not snacking on pickles?
Yes. So it adds up, which we had a ton of cucumbers and I just made a ton of pickles. So, but if you change those habits little bits at a time, they add up to big things, good or bad. So when somebody starts on, well, I'm just going to have a little bit of ice cream, but you start having it every day and it's added to everything else you're doing, well, that adds up over time as well.
Right.
So, or I'm backing off my workout 10 minutes or whatever, but 10 minutes over a
Right.
year adds up.
Right.
So
And then
same
when you have that
thing.
ice cream,
Yeah.
now you're taking away, but you're adding calories.
Well, it's the same thing in the good habits. If you do a little habit and be patient, a little habit adds to more good habits being done, but it adds up over time. It's a cumulative effect. And as you go through your life, especially as you get older, it is so important to make sure you have a healthy lifestyle because the effects of your poor lifestyle early aren't seen. Your body can cover them up. But as you get older, your body gets less and less ability to cover it up. And that's when not just your looks change, but the diseases and all that other stuff, the joints being, breaking down, all of that stuff, even cognitive,
Right.
all breaks down quicker as you get older, unless you've already shored up your lifestyle before that.
So you need better choices, better habits, better
life.
life, better balance.
Exactly.
There it is.
Balance isn't everything. Balance isn't everything because somebody who's so restrictive, I talked to somebody who was doing, remember when keto was the big thing, everybody was doing keto and keto was so restrictive. And my philosophy is when you're cutting out whole food groups, including some vegetables and fruits you cannot have when you're on a keto diet, you're cutting out nutrients that your body can use.
Right.
So these are good foods. Okay. So when you got so restrictive, I talked to somebody who lost a lot of weight in keto, but guess what? Couldn't maintain it. Could not maintain it for the rest of their life. If you can't maintain it for the rest of your life, guess what's going to happen when you stop it? You're going to go back to where you were before.
And what does that, I mean, it's just like being pregnant year after year after year. It takes a toll on your body, right? So
Exactly.
all of those things that are happening inside during pregnancy, if you're being, those step stool kids, right? It's the same thing when you're yo-yoing with your health. Maybe even worse, because at least I'm not a doctor, I could totally be off. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't take this for word, because I'm totally going off my head right now. But I would think with the pregnancy aspect, there's a little bit more organic, natural things that are happening versus the choices that we're making from going up and down. So we're probably worse on improper dieting than we would be with stacking pregnancy children.
Yeah, that's what they've even shown. I mean, people like with anorexia and bulimia and all that kind of stuff, even when they get out of it, they still have heart issues and everything down the road, right? Because they've damaged their body with what they've done.
I mean,
you do.
Great, you're skinny now, but you're dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Wonderful.
Exactly. Yeah. So
you're skinny, but you can't get out of bed because you're too weak.
Yes. Well, and even after they've done it, they've gotten out of that realm and they've actually gone back to being normal, quote unquote. I always use quotation marks with normal, but they still have, the damage has been done. And it's really hard for that body to repair. It can be repaired, but it's really hard for that body.
Right. I mean, they're starting over. They're starting from scratch.
Yeah. So they can.
Talk to me about this program, Better Choices.
Better Choices is basically where we help people develop those small little tiny habits that as they go along and it cumulatively adds up to a healthy lifestyle. But it involves the nutrition, obviously nutrition guidance, recipes, all of that. We've also got exercises that you can modify as you need to, but something that is efficient, because time seems to be the number one. People say, I don't have time to work out, right? So it's efficient. It's like a HIIT type workout where you get high and low in your intensity. So what that does is the body never gets to a point where like, oh, I can do this with less calories and less movement and not create more muscle. So it basically helps along with that. And then it's also supplementation. And one of the things that people don't realize with supplementation is it has to be in the proper balance, like everything else. Right. Again, everybody knows I need my A and C and D and E and all calcium and all of that. What they don't realize is all those nutrients, not just one or two, work together synergistically in nature. So like when you pick an orange off a tree, you're not picking vitamin C. You're picking an orange that has vitamin C along with other nutrients that interact with each other. So what ends up happening, if you don't have those nutrients in the proper balance, you may be helping yourself, you may be harming yourself, but you get in the proper balance. You're giving your body the best possible chance to create healthy cells, have healthy cells to move forward and be able to age and live a lot better. So have a better life.
It sounds complicated, but it's really right. I know. It sounds intense, right? But it's super simple. And one of the things I like about this program specifically is that it is self-driven.
Yes.
Right. So you don't have to show up to meetings, right? You don't have to check in. You don't have to, hi, my name is Brian. I weigh 125 pounds on this side. You don't have to do any of that. You like that? You don't have to do any of that, right? It's all self-driven. So some of the things on here, one is that you have a partner that you work with. So you cover one piece where she covers more of that nutrition aspect as that registered dietitian. So with that nutrition comes a really nice 4-week menu plan that rotates every month. Okay. And comes with 3 main courses a week, 2 snacks that you could utilize, and then 1 breakfast. So you can mix it up and get at least a nice 5 different varieties of options on that.
Well, and the one thing I got to mention about that too, that I really like where the focus is the focus on that nutrition is not about what to take out. It's about what to put in.
It's flavors. There are so many flavors. Look, it's another F word.
Yes, there you go.
F words that you shouldn't think of with food.
Yeah.
Right. Or that you don't think of with food, I should say. So great menu plan. You also get you and her. You have questions. your
Yes.
comments, you need some motivations, you guys are just a reach out of a schedule. And with the program, you do get both yourself as well as Dawn as that dietitian, right?
Right. And my background is I'm a nutritional lifestyle consultant as well as a personal trainer. So I have a little bit of each in both mine.
Yeah. And with that personal training, you're going to be able to have those one-on-one conversations with you. But I also like this because sometimes, especially in the beginning, there are two typically types of people. The person that, oh my God, I love you, Pam. Let's do this. We're going to do this right now. Yeah. Get a plan,
Yeah.
right? And then the other person is, I'll talk to you in a week. Let me do this myself and see what this looks like. Right. So
Yeah.
you offer both, right?
Yep.
Contact you, email you, set up a calendar. We can cheer together starting in 15 minutes, or you have videos as which is part of this Better Choices program that they can actually go in and do throughout the month.
Yes.
There's some sit-ups, there's some pull-ups, there might be chin-ups. I don't know. I know there's three.
No chin-ups.
And then
No chin-ups.
no chin-ups. Okay, no
We
chin-ups.
try to make it doable to anybody who doesn't have a ton of equipment.
Gotcha. See, look at that
Yeah.
flexibility. So you could do it in the barn. You
Yeah.
could do it in a hotel, right? If
Exactly.
you have a child, we're going to be doing it with your child.
Yep.
That's something that we're going to be trying, not we, because
We're
I'm not
working on
doing it.
that. Grandma exercises
I
with the
love
baby.
that. I love that. Or older aunt. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Or younger aunt or
Or
mom,
younger aunt.
whatever you
Right,
are.
right.
You got a baby available, borrow one.
One. You get a baby. You get a baby.
Yeah.
You get a baby.
Just bring it back.
Okay, so you get some exercises, and then every month you have a rotation of something new that is happening. What are we doing for the month of August? You would think I would know this, considering I'm part of this program, but clearly I don't recall.
For the month of August, I'm not sure where we're going with this. But we were, for the month of August, I don't know what the month of August was.
I know. I feel like there's so many choices.
Really bad.
Listen, well, here's the thing. Even if we did know, we're not telling you because you could go and join the program, right? Better Choices for free
Yes.
for your first month.
Yeah.
So
That's what I love
we
about
don't need to tell you. And then after that, when you love it and you want to continue it, it's only
$9.99.
$9.99? Yeah. It's only $9.99 a month. Guys, that is 1.75 cups of Starbucks coffee.
I'm glad you figured that out. Well, you know what? I see people spending $1,300 on a program. This Noom that's really big right now. It's like, oh my goodness, and getting out of it's really hard.
Right. I mean, literally for 1.75 cups of Starbucks coffee a month.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we all know, and I'm not judging you, but we all know that you at least have 3 cups of Starbucks coffee a week. Okay.
Yeah, we know.
We know. We see you.
The line. We see the line.
Right. So, guys, what is more important to you? And process this before you answer it.
Yeah.
Coffee in the morning, which is kind of important, right? Let me phrase this: coffee in the afternoon. There we go. Is coffee in the afternoon more important than your sanity?
Yeah. Or your health? How do you feel? How do you feel? Do you want to feel good? Do you want to feel good as you get older?
Right.
That's,
I mean, and you keep saying as you get older. Pam, how old are you?
I am 62, will be 63 in a month.
What do you think of that, ladies and gentlemen? So we have a 60, almost 3-year-old that is still active, that is still purposeful, intentful. Last question before we dive into our last phase. What is your thought process, Pam, on intermediate fasting?
Intermediate fasting depends on how you're using it, but intermediate fasting is going to work for some people. And I think, fasting is actually a good thing for your body at different times because your body goes into something, what they call, it encourages, now you remember how you were having trouble saying the other word? Autophagy. Basically what that means is your body's going to get rid of dead cells and cleanse your body out. Well, fasting helps your body do that. Digestion is actually one of the hardest things on a body. So giving your body a rest from digestion is good. People can take it to extremes. Do what works for you. I don't do intermittent fasting myself, but okay, we're gonna go the word intentionally. I may not intentionally intermittent fast, but I don't eat till I'm hungry, which is actually pretty much later in the day. So I guess I am doing intermittent fasting. I'm just not doing it on a regular
Right.
basis. So
Okay.
intermittent fasting, I think, has its parts. Just make sure that you're getting with somebody with that who's guiding you in it that can help your body type as well. I think you've got to be careful, especially if you have blood sugar issues. You have to be careful
Right.
in that realm. Pregnant, no, you should not be doing it. Absolutely, you should not, because that baby needs food on a regular basis that you need to give it. But I think for different people, it's had some success, some
Yeah.
really good success. And
Well,
because
I always thought, is eating 3 meals a day a marketing ploy, right? Did someone that needed to sell cereal, decide that we now need to eat breakfast because it
well,
starts the day and it balances you out. Like, did we get to that? Jackson, for folks that don't know or might be new, I have a 12-year-old super athletic, this year specifically, son. He's in soccer all year round. And then we just added cross country to our mix, which is 6 days a week. So very active. We're probably 2 weeks into a routine that we're finding, and we're talking about is food. What can we do to pound you in to make sure that we're trying to make sure we get little snacks in between meetings and so forth. But we've been very fortunate that Jackson his whole life has been a snacker his whole life, where he will eat 7 little things throughout the day. He has never been, we're going to sit and eat dinner and eat this big meal, where as a society, that's what we do,
oh yeah,
right? I went out to dinner yesterday. I had some company over, and we ate lunch, and it was a big lunch. We had a pasta. I didn't feel like cooking, so I threw in one of those frozen, noodles and chicken.
oh
You
yeah,
add a
yeah.
little sauce, threw it in the pan, cut up some zucchini, cut up some peppers, and threw in some extra vegetables in
Added
there.
in the vegetables. There you go.
I did, and I actually cut the cheese sauce in half, and then I will freeze the rest of it, and then I throw in some fat-free cream or sour cream just to keep it creamy, but again, cut calories, right? You take what you do. So anyway, season up. So it was a big lunch, right? And then we went to dinner, and I was like, oh, I don't even really want a big dinner because we ate such a big, heavy lunch, but we ended up going to Olive Garden. And I'm usually breadstick king, and I only ate 2 breadsticks because I was so full. Because I'm a salad and soup.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love their
yeah.
salads and soups. So
It's a great. Well, we have been taught to eat opposite of the way we should. We've been taught to a little bit for breakfast, then we have lunch, and then we have a big meal at night, which is the worst thing we could do.
wait, let's eat and then go to bed.
Yes. So if you flip that around, and I'm also a grazer, I graze throughout the day. But I make sure I have healthy things available to me that
Right.
when I'm grazing on things that are good for me. It's interesting how you brought up the fat-free sour cream as well, because I do everything full fat. Everything I do, if it's fat, I do full fat because fat keeps you full longer. It actually absorbs more nutrients because of the fat soluble vitamins, and it satisfies me. It stays with me longer. So
Right.
protein and fat, a healthy fat.
Protein. See, I double up on my protein. So again, not that I'm doing it right, ladies and gentlemen, but
I don't
with
think there's
my
a
weight loss,
wrong way. I
well,
think that you
there is. I totally think there is. If you don't look at big picture, right? So what I like to do is I like to start with just looking at calories, where I will eat whatever I want. I don't care about the macronutrients. I'm not looking at protein amounts. I'm just looking at calories. That gets me into a system that I can get into, and then I'm an instant gratification guy. I can typically feel better within 24 to 48 hours once I have reduced that. Why? Because when reducing calories, I want to eat more foods. And what can I eat more of when I'm reducing calories? Vegetables, right?
vegetables. Yep. So you're
Vegetables,
adding
right.
in the good stuff. You're
Right.
adding in the good
So
stuff.
that really balances. And then once I'm pounding in that, now I'm on a roll. Now I can start looking at macronutrients. I can start looking at protein. And if I'm not eating enough protein, then I realize I'm not being full enough. And that's when I start snacking on other crappy stuff. Whereas if I would just eat that pound of chicken, I wouldn't have to worry about the extra 2 bags of chips and probably save myself 40 calories.
Yeah.
Right. So that's
Well,
kind of where I'm saying you could get into a thing where if you're just looking at one thing and not looking at all your other, that's how people get malnutritious, right?
yes.
They're like, oh, I'm just eating lettuce sandwiches this year.
Yeah.
You can't just eat lettuce sandwiches.
No, did you know it was interesting that you remember? I don't know if you remember Jared from Subway,
Mhm.
but Jared, who lost all the weight at Subway, his percent body fat actually went up
Right.
because
That would
of
make
how he was
sense.
eating and stuff. He wasn't giving himself enough nutrients, and without that exercise, your body will also burn muscle as well as fat.
Right.
So his body composition actually got worse, even though he dropped the weight. So you're right. It's not looking at just one thing.
Right.
You're right. But
Yeah.
what I was saying about not wrong is, there's different things that work for you. And like you said, that cutting that calories right away works for you to get you in that mindset.
Yeah, I mean,
Then
you
you
just got
are
to
adding.
buy into it. You know, no one can tell you that you need to do something until you tell yourself. No one can want something more for you than you want for yourself. You know, we all have that final moment. Mine, when I was much heavier, over that 300, I'll never forget it. I had went to this award show that I was a part of, and they were taking pictures, and I saw a picture of myself, and I thought, God, who's that fat guy? I really said that. I really said, God, who's that fat guy? And I looked, and it was me. And I was like, oh, okay. So I grabbed a bag of chips, literally. I grabbed a bag of Doritos. And Jackson and I went to the park, and I sat at the bench, and I was eating a chip. And this little kid that was probably, this was 2018. So you're looking at like 5 years ago. This kid was probably 2 years younger than Jackson. So probably 7, 6. And he went over and he goes, Man, your grandpa's fat.
Oh my God.
Pam, I sat on that bench and I remember literally stuffing the Doritos in my mouth, crying.
Oh no.
We left there. I went to Walmart. I picked up a scale. I weighed myself for the first time and I said, I'm going to give myself 1 week and just jot down everything I eat. That is when I took that number and I did the average. And that's when I was at 4,235 calories a week.
Yep.
Average.
Yep.
So if that means average, guys, that means that there were days I was probably eating 5,000 calories. Now, with that being said, I was doing no exercise.
Yeah. Yeah. See, there's nothing burning in it either. Yep.
Right. So I dropped it from that 42 and I think for like 2 weeks I did 2,800. And then from 28, I went right to 15. And I felt guilty because people would come to me and it was very noticeable and my weight changed in that 6 months. And they would come to me and they go, oh God, you look great. You did. I'm like, it was, and I truly felt this. It was the easiest choice I've ever made my entire life. It wasn't hard for me to lose the weight. Once I wrapped my head around it, once I was savvy, right? Once I was savvy to balance, oh wow,
Get all the
balance
words
the
in there.
brain and the body.
It's
Hey,
an
there's your
attitude
thing.
thing.
There, what do we do?
It's an
Podcasts or
attitude
meeting
thing.
sessions. But once I was able to connect those pieces, right? Connection.
Yes. Yeah.
This don't stop it. We're on fire
You're
today.
doing good. Yeah, you are anyway.
Listen, I started this podcast with a Facebook post going, I'm awful. I'm having a very fun day today. But honestly, once you connect the pieces, it's so simple, guys. It's just got to click here. If it
Yeah.
doesn't click here, it's never going to work for you. I think we shared it before that it has to be a lifestyle. It's not a fix it. You
Right.
can have those fix its when you're 5 and 7 pounds over than what you do, and then you jump on and you might do a little extra workouts. But at the end of the day, we always, and here's another one, we always got to worry about the base. If you guys remember her counterpart, Dawn, with Healthy with Dawn, what does she do, right? It's all about the base, about that base. Same thing. You have that foundation that Pam builds
Exactly.
for you.
Exactly. Exactly. It's that attitude change. And I
Right.
think that's like when you change the focus we were talking about adding in instead of what to take out. I think that helps with the attitude change because you're not depriving yourself. You're actually giving yourself different, and you find different ways, and you'll be surprised that as you do it, what you have found is you start to want the good stuff. You start to want,
Right.
like when I exercise, I start to want how I feel after I'm done because
Yeah.
it feels so much better. Yes, you got to get through the first couple of weeks because no, it doesn't feel great. You're tired, you're sore, all of that other stuff. But as you get into doing it more and more, you start realizing how much better you feel.
And again, it's got to be for you. Like, I'm never going to be the guy at the gym working that out, right? That wasn't my thing. So I knew that if I was going to do it, what can I do that I knew that I was going to commit to, right? That was the 3 miles every day, right?
Yep.
And then it built from there. Then on top of that, I started biking. So now I'm walking 3 miles every day and I'm riding my bike 10 miles every day. Guess what that does? That allows me to burn more calories. And if I'm burning more calories, you know what? Now I can eat more.
Well, and you build muscle, and muscle actually does burn more calories than fat. Just resting, your resting
Right.
metabolism does go up the more muscle mass you have. Not to mention, and I want to bring this up for women, do you understand that as you get older, the more muscle mass you have in your body, lean body mass, which we lose supposedly in menopause, but the more you have actually determines the severity of your menopause symptoms. You will be worse going through it, not to mention you're open with more disease. They've actually, your immune system, everything is tied to your lean body mass as you get older as well. So,
let me ask you this, and this is a serious conversation, right? Like I'm going to ask a very serious question here. When a female, a woman, has her monthly cycle, what could you do on the nutrition side? Is there any? I'm not saying if I eat cucumbers will I not be in pain, but are there things that we could do to alleviate or balance out those cramps, or maybe it's the sweats, maybe it's the not sleeping, whatever that whatever that element is, or those symptoms in that particular cycle piece. I'm talking circle. Help me out here.
I know what you're talking about, but in the cycle, but there, it does make a difference because the healthier, and I would want to say the healthier and the cleaner your diet, there are some things like anti-inflammatory foods. Sounds crazy, but apple cider vinegar actually does make a difference in your cycle as well if you do it correctly. Don't ever take it straight. Mix it with water because it's too acidic for your stomach otherwise. But little things
I'm taking it. Listen, I'm a firm believer of apple cider vinegar. I think it cures infections. You can cook with it, and I love using it with ketchup on my meatloaf.
It's a great weed killer too.
Is it really?
Yes. Yes. So you mix it with salt, a little bit, teeny bit of dish soap, and apple cider vinegar, and you can kill your weeds too. So
okay, wait. Okay, you just blew my mind right now. So listen.
A gallon of apple cider vinegar, a cup of salt, and a teaspoon of dish soap, and you can kill your weeds around your house.
Pam, why do you know this? I need to know why you know this.
Because I'm into trying to do everything more naturally and not be exposed to a lot of chemicals as well, because I think that has a lot to do with our health too. So that's why I know that. I've tried to find the natural route if I can. I'm not a purist, but I do try to, and I make my own horsefly spray, which there's apple cider vinegar in there as well, because of all those toxins that you are exposing your horses to. And guess what? It comes back on me. So I can use my fly spray on me as well because it's non-toxic.
Go camping, you use it. Listen, I just looked at the clock. We are an hour into this lovely thing.
Oh man.
I know we could talk for hours. So let's go ahead and wrap this up, right? With the wrapping up, we always end our piece with a segment that we like to call 20 and 20.
20 and 20.
Where I ask you questions and you give me your answer very quickly, Family Feud style.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Let's try it.
Okay. Let me get my drink
pressure,
of coffee.
So we'll see how this goes.
Get myself prepared. Okay. Number 1, wine or beer?
Wine.
Oh, wait. Going out or staying in?
What? Staying in.
Going out or staying in?
Staying in.
Train or plane?
Plane.
Cook or do the dishes?
Cook.
No one ever wants to do the dishes. Vacation to do lots of things or a vacation to do nothing?
Do lots of things.
Movie theater or streaming service?
Streaming.
See, I figured you'd go book. Okay. Amusement park or regular park?
Regular park.
Sporting event or concert?
Sporting event.
Okay. Beach or pool?
Beach.
Read a book or listen to music?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Listen to music.
Coke or Pepsi?
Neither.
Okay. Vodka or whiskey?
Ooh, whiskey.
Okay. I'm surprised both you and Don chose whiskey.
I would say tequila if there was a choice. So
okay, there it is. Dog or cat?
Both.
Dog or cat?
Both. I have both.
Fair enough. Going out or cooking a meal together?
Cooking a meal together.
Summer or winter?
Ooh, winter
Me too. Cruise or resort?
or resort.
Really?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. What if it's not all inclusive?
That's okay.
Okay. Day trip or stay on the couch?
Day trip.
This is an important one. You ready, Pam? Waffles or French toast?
French toast.
Rain or snow?
Snow.
Okay. Now, I don't know this one, and this will determine how our friendship ends. Okay. Are you ready for this
Oh
one?
wait, it's ending?
If you don't choose the right answer here, yes. Because I don't know how to be a friend of anyone that chooses the other. Are you
Minnesota
ready?
Vikings.
Buddy, Android or Apple?
Android.
We're friends. I knew there's a reason we connected.
You know what's funny about that question is it can be so polarizing. People get so polarized about their phone. I'm like, you
They
guys,
really
whatever
do.
works for you.
Right. It's for me, it's muscle memory. It's
Yeah.
where I know where my thumb goes. I
Yeah,
could make an Apple
exactly.
work. Give me 2 weeks. That's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It'd be a crappy 2 weeks, and you may never hear from me in that 2 weeks because I don't know how to reach you. Just give me
Exactly.
2 weeks.
Exactly. It's like, okay, you know what
Well,
works for
listen,
you.
thank you so much for taking the time today just to come and visit with us. Now, in saying that, what are some ways that we can connect with you?
You know, there's a lot of different ways. Obviously, on the website, the getfitsavvy.com. You can go to the website. I have my email address. I have, it's just my name, Pam Thielen at speednet.com. My phone number is really 402-981-6791. You can text me with any questions that you have as well. So,
Perfect. It'll also be down below. So you're more than welcome to reach out to Pam and talk about some of these options and choices and intentful, purposeful things that you can actually choose to have a better choice, better habit, better life, better balance.
better everything.
Better everything. Who doesn't want better everything, right?
Exactly.
Well, again, thanks, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you next week. Be safe. Take care. Bye.
Bye.